I want one of them in your car or where you get ready in the morning, like your shower. I want you, wherever you see it, every minute of it. Okay? Furby, I got yours right here. Sandra, I got yours right here. Oh, thanks, Dan. This is Sandra's and this is Furby's. We got Nicole right here. Now, Nicole is the only unlicensed person we got on here. She's actually in that class over there. Okay, yeah, so give it to Jesse. Ivan and Rocio. There we go. Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna, there we go. Perla. We got Perla, okay. We've got Chris. There we go. Of course, we got Lunia here. Yes, right there. And yours has team. Regionals and divisions have team and personal numbers, okay? Ricky, right there. JD, we got yours right there. And Briseida, she's not here. That's Ricky, okay? And then Lucinda, right there, okay? And Sandra, you got yours, right? Okay. Today, okay. All right. So RVPs, yours will come on should be Monday or something. Okay. All right. All right. You know, I want to, and I know some of you are looking at those numbers, and you're either excited, you're not, you're whatever the case is. But listen, if you don't like your number, that's okay. Just prove everybody wrong. Right. Does that make sense? Yeah. So Carl and Edgar, go do 10 by 10. You know, and and therefore you start, because that was always my objective. My objective when I started, you know, I was 18 and had everything against me. Nobody believed in me, like my parents certainly didn't, but nobody expected me to do nothing in this business. Okay, and so I knew that going in, and for some of you that depresses you. Oh, people don't believe in me. Like my family's against me. Me. It's like, but for me, that was always the biggest motivator. It was like, okay, all right, I'll show every one of y'all, and y'all gonna eat your words. Yeah. And so that's what your attitude's got to be. And I did it in everything. Showing up early. I was always the first one there. I was always the last one to leave. Dressing nice. You know, I did show, see, the story is I showed up in a Metallica t-shirt, yes, but I didn't stay in a Metallica t-shirt. Right? You better believe that very next meeting, I looked around and go, oh, crap. And so I started dressing better. I didn't know how to dress, so I asked people that knew how to dress. My dad was the one that helped me, probably look like a 47-year-old, 18-year-old, you know, right? Looking back on it like, whoo, right? But hey, I looked professional. That's why people thought I was 25 years old, because of the way I dressed. I remember my dad back then, you know, now the scruffiness is cool. But in the 90s, dude, the scruffiness was not cool at all. Okay, for professionals, for business people. You had to shave, and my dad ruled with an iron fist in the house. So on off nights, and you can see how much it sucks to shave. Okay, my skin, it hurts. My dad would have me shave every Tuesday, twice. In the morning and before op night at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Twice! I'd show up with nicks everywhere, you know? But I didn't give a damn. I was like, okay, that's the price to pay to win? My dad was like, yeah, you'll lose if you don't. Oh, shit. Okay. Like, I wasn't going to risk it. Well, maybe, you know, I could win without it. I wasn't going to risk that. For shaving, who gives a crap? Right? For dressing nice. For doing appointments, doing KTs, doing Popeyes, doing appointments on Sunday. You will win if you do appointments on Sunday. Right. That's what he would say. I'm like, okay, done. I said, has anyone ever won without doing appointments on Sunday? He said, maybe. I said, well, maybe isn't a guarantee. So I'm not taking that risk. If everybody wins that does appointments on Sunday, then I'm going to do what everybody who wins does. That's simple, right? So make sure, so I wanted my reputation. I earned my reputation down there, or up there in Kansas City. Then when I came to Arizona, I remember, man, I was known in the Midwest as like the youngest RVP in the history of the company, blah, blah, blah. I mean, everybody knew me. Okay, partly I was my dad's son to a certain degree, but I had earned it with all my numbers. So I kind of was used to that. And then I remember coming to Mesa, moved down to Mesa, and you talk about a rude awakening on it. I'll never forget it like it was yesterday. I come to this big statewide event in that country club thing, not the hotel thing that we do it on Country Club in US 60 Highway. And I remember, I'll never forget it, what's her name, Julio, the lady at the home office? Julie C. And she wasn't at her position now. She was like a flunky, okay? She's like a, whatever you call those people, okay? And she recognized all the people that got there that were $100,000 earners. And I had gotten the ring like, maybe 6 to 8 months before that. And I remember walking up to her in one of the breaks or whatever, and I go, Julie, hi, I'm Mark Hansotia. And she goes, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Are you a guest here? Like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, right? All this work, and I'm now a brand new unlicensed rep. Damn! But some people get butthurt about that. That's it, that's bullshit. And they kick the dog or whatever they do, right? Oh, they kick the cat because they're annoying, yes. Right? But, and then they get butthurt, and then they go in a corner and they cry. But like what I said is like, okay, here we go. Gonna start it all over again. And we started working, and then, a while later, like, a year and a half, 2 years later, so Drusilla comes in, and then Ramona comes in, and all of a sudden, things started popping. So listen, whatever your numbers are right now, or what your numbers, own it. Look at it, do an autopsy on your business, and say, okay, my numbers are at 2 by 2, 3 by 3, whatever the numbers are, consistently for the last 3, 6 months, whatever it is, and say, okay, now let's look at it and say, what am I doing wrong that is causing this effect? See, I don't believe in, I heard a motivational speaker once said, listen, don't ever worry about what your negatives are. Don't ever worry about what's going wrong, like your weaknesses. Only focus on your strengths, 100%. He said, I don't ever focus on my weaknesses. And I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. That is truly the dumbest thing. No business runs off of 100% strength and they don't worry about their weaknesses. They go out of business. Any athlete, any sports team, they don't win championships by only doing one thing good, right? So you always got to be, if you're doing what you're doing, what your strength is, keep doing your strength, of course. Right. But focus on what you can get better. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James, they all have something in common. They're freaking amazing. Does anyone have some water? Poor Vanessa's like coughing up a lung. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
No, that's right. Didn't want you to have one. Okay, right. But the thing they have in common is they're well-rounded players. They're great in everything. They're great in all areas, not because that's how they are, it's because they work their ass off. We all know the stories of Michael Jordan and Kobe and LeBron. Every off-season, Brandon, did they focus on their strength of dunking, or did they focus on their weakness? Their weakness.
Thank you.
That's why by the end of his career, Michael Jordan was named Defensive Player of the Year. When in the beginning of his career, he sucked. So I want you to really look at these numbers and say, okay, what is the weakness? See, like if you're full-time, you got to ask yourself, are you full-time or are you full-time?
Right.
Listen, just because you don't have a job doesn't mean that you're full-time. Just because you hear that really clear, full-time. Just because you don't have a job doesn't mean that you're full-time. Listen, if you're not showing up in the morning every morning, 9 o'clock, ready to let it rip, setting your 10, getting after it, fighting till 10 o'clock at night, at night on KTs doing Popeyes, then you're not full-time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'll make that really clear. And for some of you, that is the challenge right there. So anyway, that's my rant right there. I don't know if that helps or not. I'll tell you this. I heard this. I'm reading this phenomenal book. And in there, he said, who knows what a slugger is? Slugger. Like, they say, Joe, man, you're such a slugger, or whatever. Okay, what would you say it is?
Slugger, like a big guy, so it's very muscular, very spiritual, so it's a lot of
Oh, no, not a slugger. Okay, slugger like the home run hitter. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Like slugger, boom. Okay, no, slugger, with a D at the end. Slugger. Or you're sluggish. You know, Joe is sluggish.
Yes.
Okay, what does that mean to you, Julio? In 2 seconds.
Like you're talking that person.
Sure. It ain't positive.
Like slouchy.
Yeah, right? Like, would you call it lazy?
Yeah.
Okay. In this book, he says, you know, the common conception, I thought the same thing. The commonality of sluggish or sluggard is lazy. He goes, that's not right. Because there's a lot of people that are sluggish or sluggards or whatever that are not lazy at all. They're always active. They're doing something all the time. They're doing sports. They're whatever. They're not sitting on the couch with a bunch of Cheetos. So what his definition of a sluggard is someone that is not willing to go through the pain of doing what they know they need to do. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because everyone in their career at some time is sluggish, for sure. I've certainly been that in my career, especially when I was in my 20s. I was working, but I was always doing the things that I was comfortable doing. I was working in my strengths. But my business wasn't growing. So being sluggish is, so I want you to think about this, and I'm not going to ask you out loud or whatever, but, and everybody knows this. If you say, I don't know what the answer to that, then you're a damn fool, and you are so arrogant, you know, you should be teaching this class or something like that. Okay, but not to say that I'm arrogant, because God knows I got plenty of shit that I need to work on, right? But the point is this, is that look at, think about it. What is the thing that you're most afraid to do in this business? What's that thing? And that's the thing that's holding you back. That's it. For some of you, it may be prospecting someone. Okay, all right, good. Well, see, listen, the first part of getting better is what?
Doing it.
Huh?
Recognize.
Yeah! Recognize that that's the problem. But so many people live in this bubble. Oh, no, I'm not that, no. Like prospecting, hey, I'm not afraid of prospecting. No. I just, they just didn't meet my qualifications. What, breathing? Right? See, like, the thing is that, so we mask all of our insecurities with justification for not attacking our weaknesses and getting better in those areas. That's why it's like a revolving door. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, same month, different year. So think about 2 or 3 things and really just focus in on one. And once you conquer that, then you move to the next one. I love, I had a great lunch with Ricky and Sandra the other day, or breakfast, whatever it was, okay? And we were talking, and Sandra, was, it was, Sandra, you're growing, girl. You are really growing. And a big part of that is because she goes, I think I'm getting good at the KT. I'm getting there. I'm not there by any stretch, but I'm kind of getting there. But man, boy, the recruiting, it's kicking my ass. I'm just having a hard time. I said, okay, good. That's there. You identified it. Now the step 2 is, what do you think step 2 is? Work on it. Now, see, identify it, but then if you work on it without any kind of mentorship or skill, it's not going to get any better. Does it make sense? See, like see, a lot of times for me, the reason why I was so struggling with prospecting for quite a while was because my skill wasn't where it needed to be. So therefore, when I would talk to someone, I would say blah, 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 and then she would say no because what I was saying was not right. So she would say no, so then I'd go to Anna, she'd say no, I'd go to Dan, he'd say no, and then obviously Carla would finally say yes, but then she'd give me a 555 number. Who's ever experienced that? Right? Definitely. It reminds me of my single days. Okay, so, that's how. So now, obviously, when it comes to Edgar, now I got destroyed, and faked. So what do you think? Do you think I want to talk to Edgar? So I'm going to justify. Oh no, we don't hire people to wear hats like that. No. He's just the wrong kind of guy. I like that hat. It's really cool. Okay. But right, we justify everything. Oh well, he smiles too much. He's got something to hide. And isn't that how we do it?
Yeah.
So you got to get good at your skill. You got to get good. You got to be willing to listen to your coaches and listen to them. Actually listen, because they're going to tell you if you're willing to receive the information without getting butthurt and defensive, they'll tell you everything you need to know to win. That's it. But if you can't receive information, if you can't receive criticism or coaching, I call it coaching, then, and we've all been that way in our career. I've been defensive, certainly in my 20s. With my parents, early in my 20s, well, my parents couldn't tell me anything, right? That's just mom and dad. They're not a millennial like me. We didn't call it a millennial, okay? But, right? Anyway, one other thing that I would tell you is what I've learned from this book. He said, and write this one down, every decision you make divides people. Every decision you make divides. Good question. I should probably remember. Never Go Back by Henry Cloud. Okay?
Ooh.
Henry Cloud.
He's an author.
Like a cloud. Great book. Never Go Back. So when he says every decision divides, see, some of you are refusing to make strong, tough decisions because you're scared to death that you're going to offend someone. Oh, well, I don't want to tell my negative uncle to leave me alone or whatever. I don't want to do this. Because I don't want him to be upset at me. Well, listen. When you have that kind of thought process, no decision is no decision. You got to understand every decision you make, it's going to piss someone off. That's it. It's going to piss someone off. So at the end of the day, you can either go around pleasing other people, trying to please, because you'll never please everybody. You'll never please everybody. Or, and it's not about pleasing yourself. Don't take this the wrong way. Don't take it to where, in the sense that, oh, it's all about me. Like, I drive by I-10 and there's this Gila River, whatever, some casino, and they have this huge billboard. It says, "You do you." And I freaking want to throw a freaking baseball at that piece of shit sign every time I drive by it because it pisses me off. I hate that. Think about it. How selfish is that? You do you. Screw everyone else. But you do you. Right? So you don't think like, so what I'm saying is I'm not saying you do you, make the decision that's only good for you. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you know there's a decision that needs to be made that is good for, meaning it is the right decision. We all know what the right decision is. Does that make sense? The right decision is not a selfish decision. The right decision is good for people. Does it make sense? I actually bought on Amazon a couple of WWJD bracelets. You know, what would Jesus do? Bracelets, those were popular in the 90s. Then all of a sudden, apparently, Jesus went out of favor. I guess, I don't know, right? It wasn't as popular now, okay? But I brought those to remind myself, okay, look, every decision I make, what would he do in this situation? What would he do? And doesn't the answer come like this? Like crystallizes, like so fast. What would Jesus do? Would he prospect Edgar? Hell yeah, he would. He would want him as his 13th disciple. Right? Or 14. There's 12, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm sure he would want more, right? Okay, right? Okay, so, I mean, he wanted a Big Bay shop. Yeah, the biggest one, I'll tell you that. So, another thing that I heard, I watched this phenomenal documentary on, oh gosh, what's his name? A very, very famous, Jim Valvano. Very famous college basketball coach that died of cancer back in the late 80s or so. And Jimmy V, yeah. And he had one of the biggest college basketball upsets in the national championship game. It's a famous scene, you know, that you've probably seen if you're a sports nut, but just didn't know it was him. But his big thing is always really emotional, like passionate, not emotional, not like crying everywhere. What I mean is like he's passionate. And he said, you know, when he was with his team, he's talking about, man, play with passion. He says passion trumps so many mistakes. It covers up so many mistakes by logic. And he said, and that's so true, because think about it. You got all these, you know, young tigers in there, young studs. They don't know shit. They don't know nothing. But yet, when they're passionate, take one passion. Wouldn't you love to recruit one young, or young, doesn't matter, age doesn't matter, one passionate, unlicensed recruit? Or would you rather recruit the banker that knows everything about money? See, passion, and then they end up doing their first month license. Some of them will end up doing $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 in personal premium, kicking all y'all's ass. But yet, we have more knowledge, they have more passion. So when you play with passion and knowledge, then you're unstoppable. That's how I see, like when I see Irma and Joaquin work, when I see Yesenia and Jasmine work, like they play with unadulterated passion, 24/7. And see, passion doesn't turn off. Now, are you down sometimes? Sure. But do you show that? No. Leadership, you don't show that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right there? Okay, so I hope these are like random nuggets. I know these are like so random. But I just, you know, it really impacted me. I thought that was phenomenal. And, you know, the last thing I'll end it with, number one, during the phone, or two things. The phone blitz, man, listen, we got to be on point. You know, Ceci and Julio are going to announce some really kick-ass things for the phone blitz with the raffle. It's going to be tied in with Tuesday's raffle and tonight and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be badass, okay? So make sure you're on point with your people, okay? Make sure you're, and if you don't have people, listen, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen during phone blitz, okay? Licensed people that don't have people, that's not the dumbest thing, okay? It takes it a step further. I mean, that's pretty dumb, not to have a person, okay? All right? But some of you are newer, I get it, okay? But then the dumbest thing is to not have someone to work with, and you, with your thumb up your ear, okay, outside or hanging out, or hanging out in the bathroom, or whatever you're doing. That's dumb. Because if your competitors have people here, you got to work twice as hard to catch up.
Right.
So I'd be using that phone blitz to burn the phone. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, we all have unlimited plans. So what's stopping you?
Right.
Right? The last thing I'll end it with is this. You know, I did a lot of thinking in the last week or so. And, you know, I look at our organization, and we really, you know, we have been through so much. Through so much in the last, you know, even just the last 2-3 years as a hierarchy. And I look at all of you guys that, you know, we're the survivors. We're the ones that, okay, we took it on the chin, but we stayed focused. We kept moving forward, failing forward. And I think as a hierarchy, you know, I really believe, Shane used to say this, and at that time I was young, and I don't know if I believed it wholeheartedly or whatever, but Shane used to always say, you know, God has his hand on Primerica and he has his other hand on the Reuben organization. And as I get older, I realize what Shane was talking about. God definitely has his hand on America because our principles and our morals and what we do. And now, are there infighting and this and that and drama? Of course, that's called life. But as a whole, there's no truer company than Primerica.
Right.
There's no truer leadership than Glenn Williams and the people that are at the top.
Right.
And I do believe his right hand is on Primerica. And hey, we're a left-handed organization, so but his left hand is on the dog pound. I believe that because no organization, anyone who got big went through the shit that we've been through. Guaranteed. So we're no special like in that. But I'm telling you this, he's got his hand on this business, on this hierarchy. He has his hand on you. That's why you're here and survived. And I did this little rendition with some new people that were with me on Monday night, some unlicensed people. And I said, you know what the odds are? And I did the math for them. And if you have questions about it, ask me. I'll do the math for you. You know what the odds are of someone getting recruited into Primerica? As far as the U.S. population? Not the world population, U.S. population. You know what the odds are? 6/1000%. Do the math. 6/1000% of you being recruited into this business this year. 6/1000%. So when people come in and they say, "Oh, Primerica," like, man, God's like, dude, there's things that you want in your life. Here is your opportunity. 6/1000%. Now, the people in this room, I don't even know what the numbers are of you getting licensed. Think about it. What are the odds of you getting licensed in this thing? So now don't tell me God doesn't want you to kick ass here and do his work here. This is our ministry. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'm so proud of this group. You have no idea. But I'm even more excited and proud of what's happening, what's going to happen in the future. 2019, we're gearing up for it. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yep.
All right? So let's have a great training today. God bless you. Let's have fun. Woo!
Thank you.